Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us Team Mosso at the1916company.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any of our watches. Reach out to us directly, Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for pricing. Today we discuss the FP Journe Centigraphe Sport, 44 millimeters in diameter. This watch is platinum and physically massive. In fact, the dial is made of sterling, the case is made of platinum along with clasp and bracelet, and the movement is solid gold, meaning in the hand the feel of weight is incredible. However, the size is surprisingly slim. 44 millimeters in diameter, yes, but in profile the watch is a mere 10.7 millimeters thick, and you will find broad across the wrist at 54.7 millimeters from end link to end link, the horizontal distance across the wrist. So taking a quick look, you can see the watch. Easy to wear on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, but probably not a wrist much smaller than mine. I could wear this just fine, but I do think your wrist needs to be 16 centimeters circumference or up to get the most out of this. And that's just down to the rigidity of the first link on each side of the case. However, it is quite thin and it will slip underneath the cuff, so no issues in that regard. And again, the feeling of weight, it is an awe-inspiring thing with this watch. Taking a quick look, you can see that we have a bracelet that incorporates the same chiseled design and finish as the lug hoods of the case, and it is a beautiful, subtle, anti-reflective treatment. You can also see something that came to pass in 2019, which is the end of the rubber bumpers on the bracelet. I always liked them, but I've been outvoted. Journe collectors wanted something that was a little bit more monotone and perhaps less susceptible to secondary wear, so the rubber bumpers went away. Now you can see we have a rugged bracelet, and it features polished outer flanks along with removable links fixed by screws. You can also see that we have a clasp, likewise made of precious metal inside and out. There is a micro adjustment built into the buckle side. And then we have these little ceramic spring-loaded pin snaps, so over time, the platinum cannot aggress against the pin snaps. The ceramic can't be worn down no matter how many times it is closed, so it will remain snappy over time. And you can see that is present on both sides of the double folding clasp. FP Journe, in fact, he did invent and make it. Rolling back to the case, you could see that there's not a whole lot of taper to the bracelet. There's the primary link that adjoins the case, and then everything else is just straight down to the clasp. The case band features polished accents along with the chiseled finish, which I love. There's a bevel that runs all the way around the perimeter of the watch, giving us a little bit of polished contrast, along with the controls. Journe's famous unsigned double dimple knurled crown. And then we have a patented rocker, so it looks like it might be a mono pusher, but unlike a mono pusher, once you stop, you can actually resume. So there are two patents in this watch. This control system is one of them, making it much easier to operate the watch using your forefinger. Resetting the system is also a wonderful little piece of horological theater. We have a bezel with a ceramic insert, a blue ceramic insert, blue mauve, as Journe describes it. We have 3 silver sub-registers and a sterling silver dial with blue mauve, and then white gold hands at center with white gold applique Arabic numerals outboard. You can see that the hands are matte finished, contrast nicely against the dial, as well as the polished steel inner bezel that frames the 3 sub-registers. Using the tachymeter scales here, here, and here, you can gauge the speed of objects traveling between 36,000 kilometers per hour and 6. This is a 1-second foudroyant, this is a 20-second register, and this is a 10-minute register. Now this is the Centigraphe, which, as the Centigraphe Souverain, actually won the 2008 GPHG Aiguille d'Or as the best watch of the year, equivalent to Best Picture at the Oscars of watchmaking. And this 1/100th of a second system allows you to register intervals as small as 1/100th of a second, even though this is a 3 hertz beat rate. So here we have a 21,600 vibration per hour primary oscillator, and then we have a secondary escapement at 360,000 vibrations per hour, and that is exactly how it works. You can't quite see the mechanism underneath, but it is right below this foutrion. Rolling around the case back, you can see that the bracelet is held to the case using screws and bars, and on the back side we have a large movement that properly fills out the case back. Solid gold, 18 karat, manual wind, 80 hours of power reserve chronograph on, 24 hours of power reserve, 80 hours chronograph off, 24 hours chronograph on. But that's not really a concern because the largest register on the chrono is 10 minutes, so you have no reason to leave it running for 24 hours, certainly. And so 80-24 being the split power reserves, the barrel is at center, and that is for a reason. That is the second patented element on this watch. The barrel arbor, or basically the axle, has a toothed extension that drives the chronograph. And then the edge of the barrel, which you can see is also toothed, that drives the time display. So by creating two different drivetrains that run off the barrel, rather than putting everything off the timing train, the going train of the watch, most chronographs you see run the chronograph system off the fourth wheel, which means the going train bears the stress of both keeping time and keeping chronograph time. By creating two different drivetrains here, Journe does diminish the power reserve when the chrono's running, like on any chronograph, but does not suffer the loss of balance amplitude, which is typically 30 to 35 degrees on a conventional chronograph when the chronograph is engaged. You can see that it is a large movement, 15.06, the design work on the movement started, and 15 is the size in French lean. Multiply that by about 2.24 to get the size in millimeters, and you can see it's properly sized for the case back. 30 meters water resistance. You don't necessarily want to swim with this sports watch. It is more of a sporty watch, and you can see Holt head screws on the case back because Journe doesn't want you to try to open it. Solid gold bridges and plates. You can see the finishing is quite attractive with a mirrored bevel. Journe beveling is getting better with time. We have circular Côte de Genève, engine turning on the base plate. All screw heads have black polished tops. We have solarization on the crown wheel core, which is a lovely touch, with satination on the barrel as well as the train wheels. And the timepiece does have a column wheel. So if you're wondering how all of this is controlled, it is with crisp tactile actuation. Lots to love in this watch. 50 pivot jewels, of course, and a free-sprung balance for precision of adjustment as well as shock resistance. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.